Electromagnetic induction. In the early 19th century, a scientist by the name of Michael Faraday published several papers on electromagnetic induction, which is the ability of changing magnetic field to induce a voltage in a conductor. To better understand this phenomenon, Faraday conducted a number of experiments. One of these experiments used a coil of wire, a permanent magnet, and a device to detect voltage in the wire. When the magnet was passed through the coil of wire, a voltage was induced in the wire, but it disappeared when the magnet stopped moving. Faraday found that there were two factors that affected how much voltage was induced in the coil. The first factor was the number of turns of wire in the coil, which increased the amount of wire exposed to the magnetic field. The results of Faraday's experiments shows that the induced voltage increased in direct proportion to the number of turns in the electrical coil. In other words, doubling the number of turns resulted in a doubling of the induced voltage. The second factor was how quickly the magnetic field was changing. There are a couple of different ways that we can make a magnetic field change. One way is to change the strength of the field produced by the magnet. If we use an electromagnetic to create the magnetic field, we can turn the magnet on and off, or simply vary the current to change the strength of the field. The second way is to move the field relative to the conductor. We could do this by moving the coil around in the field or by moving the magnet around the coil. It doesn't matter which as long as there is relative motion. The United Nations. Every year, the UN and its member nations observes October 24 as United Nations Day around the world. That's because the 24th of October marks that fall day in New York City in 1945, when nations ratified the Charter of the UN and launched UNHS. Second major attempts at forming a world parliament. By far, our most successful, this second attempt at global negotiation and cooperation has stopped famine, averted wars, and given the world hope. When they recognize that the United Nations isn't perfect, Baha is in every country observe and celebrate this unique day and work toward the realization of the great dreams behind the UN World Unity. The reason why we celebrate this is the UN saves lives. While world media attention focuses on the international controversies and the policy intervention failures, it really covers the UN powerful, life-saving work with its agencies like the World Food Program, the UN peacekeeping forces, and the many other UN agencies. One of the examples, the UN vaccinates 58% of the world's children, which saves 3 million lives every year. Second, the UN helps refugees. Every year, the United Nations assists 38 million refugees, saving them from wars, conflicts, famine, and persecution. The third reason was the UN fights climate change and promotes sustainable development. No organization on earth does more to protect the environment than the United Nations, which fosters knowledge, conducts research, and brokers international climate
treatise.